The worst way to boost your vocabulary is to try and learn all the words that are out there. A better way is through focused vocabulary lists for everyday topics that you need as a beginner, and you'll find out how today. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. How to get hundreds of vocabulary lists for free. So, what are the free vocabulary lists? This is our library of hundreds of focused word and phrase lists, all based on themes and topics that you, as a beginner, need to know. So, common greetings, ways to ask and answer how are you, talking about your day, and things like that. Each list gives you the words and phrases around that theme or topic, plus translations and audio pronunciations, so you're not learning all kinds of random, unrelated words like zebra or economics. You'll find the free vocabulary list in the drop-down menu on the site. Okay, so now that you know what the free vocabulary lists are and where to find them, let's talk about how to actually boost your vocabulary with these lists. How to boost your vocabulary. If you want to speak more of the language, you need to know more words, and that's where the vocabulary lists help. For example, if you want to learn phrases around a certain topic, like saying, "How are you?" just access this list. You can go through the phrases one by one. You can listen to the pronunciation. You can slow it down by pressing the audio icon twice. Or you can listen to the words on a loop as you see them on screen with the slideshow. And for that, just click on View in the slideshow option that you'll see on every list. And to practice speaking, click on the microphone icon to record and compare your pronunciation to a native speaker's. So here, you're just learning and getting acquainted with the words. Now, if you want to master the words, you can use the list with our spaced repetition flashcards or the word bank. Just click on Add All to Flashcards or Add All to Word Bank. With the flashcards, you can drill the words until you know them for good. And the word bank is where you save words that you want to review later, in case you want to revisit some words or phrases. We'll also email you vocabulary lists occasionally. For example, you'll get the Halloween word list around Halloween, the summer vocab during the summer, the winter vocabulary list during winter, and so on. So if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to talk about consequences in English? Hi, my name is Daphne, and this is 3-Step English by EnglishClass101.com. In this lesson, you'll learn how to talk about consequences through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. Custom Computer Solutions, this is Jessica. How may I help you? Hello, we placed a big order with you for computer monitors, hard drives, and accessories lately. I see. Did you receive everything in your order? We got all of the items except that some of the monitors were broken. I'm sorry to hear that. We can replace those, of course. Was there anything else? Yes. Many of my team members have been having problems with the hard drives. Frankly, this is unacceptable. Unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. We will be happy to replace the hard drives as well. Once you have returned the broken items, we will be able to send you the new ones. And what if we just want a refund? We can give you a refund provided that you send us the broken items first. I'll discuss this with my supervisor and let you know. Let's go over the dialogue again, more slowly this time. Custom Computer Solutions, this is Jessica. How may I help you? Hello, we placed a big order with you for computer monitors, hard drives, and accessories lately. I see. Did you receive everything in your order? We got all of the items, except that some of the monitors were broken. I'm sorry to hear that. We can replace those, of course. Was there anything else? Yes, many of my team members have been having problems with the hard drives. Frankly, this is unacceptable. Pay attention to the next sentence. It follows the key speaking pattern you'll learn later in this lesson. Unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. We will be happy to replace the hard drives as well. Once you have returned the broken items, we will be able to send you the new ones. And what if we just want a refund? We can give you a refund, provided that you send us the broken items first. I'll discuss this with my supervisor and let you know. Let's look at the sentence pattern. Do you remember the focus sentence from the dialogue? Unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. This sentence follows the pattern here. This pattern is the structure that all of our examples will follow. Unless, once, plus condition, plus consequence. This sentence pattern, unless, once, condition, consequence, is used to talk about cause and effect situations. It shows what will happen as a result of a specific condition. This structure is useful in business communication when explaining requirements, deadlines, or outcomes clearly and firmly. Let's go part by part. The sentence begins with unless or once. These words signal that a condition is being introduced. Unless sets up a negative condition. It means that something will happen only if the condition is not met. Once sets up a positive condition. It means that something will happen as soon as a condition is met. Next is the condition. This tells us what needs to happen or not happen. Finally, the consequence explains the result. What action will be taken if the condition is or isn't fulfilled. Now let's look at the example sentence. Unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. The word unless introduces a negative condition. The speaker is saying that if the solution is not satisfactory, a consequence will follow. The condition is, you can offer a satisfactory solution. The consequence is, we will be forced to find a new supplier. This shows what action the speaker will take if the condition is not met. The sentence pattern can also be rearranged to provide a slightly different tone. This sentence pattern, consequence plus provided that plus condition, is used to express a result that will happen only if a specific requirement is met. It's common in formal or professional English, especially in business settings where clear conditions need to be stated. Let's go part by part. The sentence begins with the consequence. This is the action or result that will take place. Then we use provided that to introduce the condition. This phrase means the same as if, but it sounds more formal and emphasizes that the condition is necessary for the consequence to happen. Now let's look at the example sentence. We can give you a refund, provided that you send us the broken items first. The consequence is we can give you a refund. This tells the listener what the company is willing to do. Provided that introduces a condition that must be met. The condition is you send us the broken items first. Without this, the consequence will not occur. Now let's look at some speaking examples. You should be able to get a job provided that you have the right qualifications. Can you see how the pattern applies here? This sentence uses provided that to introduce the condition. You have the right qualifications. The consequence is you should be able to get a job. This fits the overall structure, condition plus consequence, where the outcome depends on the condition being met. Next, once you've returned the broken items, we will be able to send you the new ones. Here, the condition is once you've returned the broken items. The consequence is we will be able to send you the new ones. Once signals that the second action will only happen after the first one is completed. Let's try one more. Unless you submit the report by Friday, the project will be delayed. The condition is unless you submit the report by Friday. The consequence is the project will be delayed. Unless shows a negative condition. The delay will happen if the report is not submitted in time. Another one. We'll approve your proposal provided that you make the requested changes. Here, the condition is provided that you make the requested changes. The consequence is we'll approve your proposal. Like the first example, provided that sets up a requirement that must be met for the result to occur. Thank you for watching. Now you know how to talk about consequences in English. And now you can move on to the practice.
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to talk about consequences in English? Welcome to 3-Step English Practice by EnglishClass101.com. In this lesson, you'll practice how to talk about consequences. Let's look at the main dialogue. A person is explaining an issue they are having. Yes, many of my team members have been having problems with the hard drives. Frankly, this is unacceptable. Unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. This dialogue shows how consequences are expressed. Phrases like unless you can offer or provided that are used to show conditions that must be met. Let's practice with more vocabulary in this lesson. Here is a list of phrases related to talking about consequences. First is provided that. Provided that. Provided that. I'll discuss this with my supervisor. I'll discuss this with my supervisor. I'll discuss this with my supervisor. Satisfactory solution. Satisfactory solution. Satisfactory solution. Broken items. Broken items. Broken items. Refund. 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 Do you know what provided that means? Only if a certain condition is met. In everyday English, people may also say as long as. How about, I'll discuss this with my supervisor. This will be decided by a higher authority, like a manager. And satisfactory solution? A fix or answer that is acceptable and meets the need. And what about broken items? Items that are damaged or not working. And refund? Money returned for faulty goods. Let's do some multiple choice. Circle the correct answer. You should be able to get a job provided that you have the right qualifications. What does the underlined section of the sentence mean? Only if a certain condition is met. Circle the correct answer. And what if we just want a refund? What does the underlined section of the sentence mean? Money returned for faulty goods. Choose the best answer to complete the sentence. Ready? What are they saying? We can give you a refund provided that you send us the items first. We can give you a refund provided that you send us the items first. Broken. Broken. We can give you a refund provided that you send us the broken items first. We can give you a refund provided that you send us the broken items first. Choose the best answer to complete the sentence. Ready? What are they saying? Unless you can offer a, we will be forced to find a new supplier. Unless you can offer a, we will be forced to find a new supplier. Satisfactory solution. Satisfactory solution. Unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. Unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. Let's do some true or false questions now. True or false? They will discuss it with a supervisor, meaning they will speak to the head of the company. False. They will speak to the person directly above them in management. They will speak to the person directly above them in management. One more. True or false? Once you've returned the broken items, we'll send you new ones, meaning they will send the correct items and then request the broken items back. False. They will send the correct items only after the broken items are received. They will send the correct items only after the broken items are received. Listen as I speak. What is the meaning of each consequence-related phrase? I'll discuss this with my supervisor and let you know. Let's listen one more time. I'll discuss this with my supervisor and let you know. Did you hear discuss this with my supervisor? Discuss this with my supervisor means this will be decided by a higher authority. How about, unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. Let's listen one more time. Unless you can offer a satisfactory solution, we will be forced to find a new supplier. Did you hear satisfactory solution? Satisfactory solution means a fix or answer that is acceptable and meets the need. Next, and what if we just want a refund? One more time. And what if we just want a refund? Did you hear refund? Refund means money returned for faulty goods. Next, you should be able to get a job provided that you have the right qualifications. One more time. You should be able to get a job provided that you have the right qualifications. Did you hear provided that? Provided that means only if a certain condition is met. And we can give you a refund provided that you send us the broken items first. One more time. We can give you a refund provided that you send us the broken items first. Did you hear broken items? Broken items means the items that are damaged or not working. Now you know how to talk about consequences in English. And now you can move on to the next lesson in the Pathway on EnglishClass101.com.
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to talk about trends in English? Hi, my name is Daphne, and this is 3-Step English by EnglishClass101.com. In this lesson, you'll learn how to talk about trends through a quick conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. Good evening, everyone. My name is Isabel Gomez, and I'm a program director here at the SPACE program. You may be wondering why you should invest in our program. Recent data shows that people are considerably more interested in science now than they used to be. Last year, public interest in scientific research grew rapidly. This public attention is due to some extent to social media. As technology has grown, people have gradually begun to use social media to learn about new science. At the SPACE program, we've been steadily building new research facilities and expanding our social media presence. I would like to encourage you to invest in the SPACE program and invest in the future of science. Thank you. Let's go over the dialogue again, more slowly this time. Good evening, everyone. My name is Isabel Gomez, and I'm a program director here at the SPACE program. You may be wondering why you should invest in our program. Recent data shows that people are considerably more interested in science now than they used to be. Pay attention to the next sentence. It follows the key speaking pattern you'll learn later in this lesson. Last year, public interest in scientific research grew rapidly. This public attention is due to some extent to social media. As technology has grown, people have gradually begun to use social media to learn about new science. At the SPACE program, we've been steadily building new research facilities and expanding our social media presence. I would like to encourage you to invest in the SPACE program and invest in the future of science. Thank you. Do you remember the focus sentence from the dialogue? Last year, public interest in scientific research grew rapidly. This sentence follows the pattern here. Growth change verb plus adverb of degree. This sentence pattern, growth change verbs, adverbs of degree, is used to describe how something increases, decreases, or shifts over time. It's especially useful when talking about business trends, market activity, or changes in interest or behavior. Let's go part by part. The growth change verb shows what kind of movement or development is happening. These are verbs like grow, increase, decline, or shift, and they describe a change from one state to another. The adverb of degree tells us how much or how quickly that change happened. Words like rapidly, sharply, or gradually help make the description more precise and measurable. Now let's look at the example sentence. Last year, public interest in scientific research grew rapidly. The growth change verb is grew. It shows that the level of public interest increased. The adverb of degree is rapidly. It describes the speed and intensity of the growth. So the sentence follows the pattern, growth change verb grew, adverb of degree rapidly. This structure helps speakers describe clear trends and developments in a detailed and accurate way. There is also a second pattern which communicates a similar idea with a different structure for the verbs. Auxiliary verb phrase plus adverb plus main verb. This sentence pattern, auxiliary verb, adverb, main verb, is used to describe how an action is happening over time, especially when talking about trends or ongoing developments. It helps the speaker show not just what is happening, but also the manner or pace of that change. Let's go part by part. The auxiliary verb supports the main verb and helps express tense, aspect, or voice. In this case, we have been, which is used to form the present perfect continuous tense. This tense describes an action that started in the past and is still continuing. The adverb comes next. It describes how the action is being done. In this case, how consistently or gradually something is happening. It gives more detail about the nature of the trend. Finally, the main verb shows the action that is taking place. This is the core activity being described. Now let's look at the example sentence from the dialogue. We've been steadily building new research facilities. The auxiliary phrase is have been, which sets up an ongoing action. The adverb is steadily, showing that the activity is happening in a consistent and continuous way. The main verb is building, which describes the action itself, putting up new facilities. So the full sentence follows the pattern, auxiliary phrase, have been, adverb, steadily, main verb, building. This structure is useful for explaining ongoing trends or developments, and it helps emphasize both the action and the way that action is progressing over time. Now let's look at some speaking examples. People have gradually begun to use social media. Can you see how the pattern applies here? This sentence follows the auxiliary verb plus adverb plus main verb structure. Have is the auxiliary verb, gradually is the adverb, and begun is the main verb. The adverb gradually tells us the rate of change, emphasizing that the shift toward using social media happened over time. Next, because of new technology, we've gradually stopped using the copy machine. This also fits the auxiliary verb, adverb, main verb pattern. We have is the auxiliary, gradually is the adverb, and stopped is the main verb. The adverb modifies how the stopping happened, slowly and over time, showing a declining trend. Let's try one more. We have steadily increased our output. This sentence uses a growth verb, increased, with the adverb steadily. Together, they show a pattern of consistent improvement. It also matches the auxiliary verb, adverb, main verb structure, have, plus steadily, plus increased. Another one. The company expanded steadily. This one uses the growth verb expanded directly with the adverb steadily. It fits the growth change verb plus adverb of degree pattern, indicating slow and continuous growth over time. Thank you for watching. Now you know how to talk about trends in English, and now you can move on to the practice.
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to talk about trends in English? Welcome to 3-Step English Practice by EnglishClass101.com. In this lesson, you will practice how to talk about trends. Let's look at the main dialogue. A person is giving a lecture. You may be wondering why you should invest in our program. Recent data shows that people are considerably more interested in science now than they used to be. Last year, public interest in scientific research grew rapidly. In her speech, we hear useful expressions to describe trends, such as considerably more or grew rapidly. We use these expressions to describe how things change over time. Let's practice with more vocabulary in this lesson. Here is a list of words and phrases you can use when talking about trends. First is considerably more, considerably more, considerably more. Grew rapidly, grew rapidly, grew rapidly. Gradually begun to, gradually begun to, gradually begun to. Steadily, steadily, steadily. Expanding our presence, expanding our presence, expanding our presence. Do you know what considerably more means? Increase by a large amount. How about grew rapidly? Increased or developed very quickly. And gradually begun to? Slow, steady change over time. And what about steadily? Consistent progress. And expanding our presence? Increasing visibility or influence in more areas. Let's do some multiple choice. Circle the correct answer. Our shares have increased considerably more than expected. What does the underlined section of the sentence mean? Increase by a large amount. Circle the correct answer. The share value has gradually begun to decline. What does the underlined section of the sentence mean? Slow, steady change over time. Choose the best answer to complete the sentence. Ready? What are they saying? Our efforts in the market are gathering steam. Our efforts in the market are gathering steam. steadily. Steadily. Our efforts in the market are steadily gathering steam. Our efforts in the market are steadily gathering steam. Choose the best answer to complete the sentence. Ready? What are they saying? This conference will help in the region. This conference will help in the region. Expand our presence. Expand our presence. This conference will help expand our presence in the region. This conference will help expand our presence in the region. Let's do some true or false questions now. True or false? By investing in the future, we are getting consistent progress. False. By investing in the future, we are putting resources into a thing now to get benefits later. By investing in the future, we are putting resources into a thing now to get benefits later. One more. True or false? The stock doubled overnight. It really grew rapidly. True. The stock doubled overnight. It really grew rapidly. Listen as I speak. What is the trend-related vocabulary in the sentence? The stock doubled overnight. It really grew rapidly. Let's listen one more time. The stock doubled overnight. It really grew rapidly. Did you hear grew rapidly? Grew rapidly means increased or developed very quickly. How about our shares have increased considerably more than expected? Let's listen one more time. Our shares have increased considerably more than expected. Did you hear considerably more? Considerably more means increase by a large amount. Next. The share value has gradually begun to decline. One more time. The share value has gradually begun to decline. Did you hear gradually begun? Gradually begun means slow, steady change over time. Next. Our efforts in the market are steadily gathering steam. One more time. Our efforts in the market are steadily gathering steam. Did you hear steadily? Steadily means consistent progress. And this conference will help expand our presence in the region. One more time. This conference will help expand our presence in the region. Did you hear expand our presence? Expand our presence means increasing visibility or influence in more areas. Now you know how to talk about trends in English. And now you can move on to the next lesson in the pathway on EnglishClass101.com.
Hi everyone! In this lesson, you'll practice your listening skills with one classic story told in two surprising ways. Listen carefully and tell us which version you prefer. Let's begin!
The Little Red Hen 2.0. Likes don't build food trucks. A young man loved his grandmother's cooking. With her blessing, he had an idea for a food truck. He posted in the group chat, "Thinking of starting a food truck based on Grandma's recipes,"
Great idea.
said his neighbor.
Heart emoji,
Said his cousin.
Winning.
Said his friend. So he replied,
Thanks all. I'm all in. Who else?
A few hours passed. Nothing. Then a full day. Still no response. He sat in a cafe, refreshing the screen. His smile faded.
What's wrong?
Asked a calm voice. It was Mira.
I have a great idea.
He said.
Lots of likes, but no one's showing up.
Mira nodded.
Support is easy. Showing up is rare. Let's build it anyway.
She returned the next day. They learned, built, grew. They cooked at night, designed the brand. No one else helped. When the truck opened, people lined up. Within a year, it grew to 5 trucks. One day, his cousin came by.
I knew you could do it.
He said,
Cousin, thank you. 5% off for first-time customers.
But we're family.
Ah, yes. 10% off.
People laughed. The food was great. The line kept growing.
Now, here's a different take on the same story. Listen closely to see how it changes.
The Little Red Hen 2.0. You listened. A young man loved his grandmother's cooking. With her blessing, he had an idea for a food truck. He posted in the group chat,
Thinking of starting a food truck based on Grandma's recipes.
Fail.
said his neighbor.
LOL emoji.
Said his cousin Dorian.
You'll lose everything.
Said his friend. So he replied,
Thanks all. Appreciate the feedback. I won't do it.
Dorian liked the message.
Thanks, cuz.
He replied. 2 months later, the young man walked past a food truck with a long line. It smelled familiar. He joined the line, waited. When he reached the counter, he looked inside. It was Dorian.
Cuz, but you said it was a bad idea.
Dorian shrugged.
Yeah, but you listened.
The young man's face fell. Dorian passed him a bowl.
This one's on me. Granny's dumplings.
Great listening! Which version did you prefer and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hi everyone! In this lesson, you'll practice your listening skills with one classic story told in 2 surprising ways. Listen carefully and tell us which version you prefer. Let's begin!
The Bundle of Sticks 2.0. The Build. 5 high school friends, all with offers, big companies, big paychecks. It was their last night together.
I'll miss you all.
Said Tom. Then he overheard a toast from another table.
Sticking together is strength. Strength with purpose is power.
It was Mira. He paused, then said,
Let's turn them down. Let's build something of our own. Let's not compete. Because together, we're unbeatable.
They rented a house, shared groceries, took turns doing dishes, pitched, coded, and crashed together. Everyone said they were wasting time.
You could have been rich already.
But they kept going. Late nights, cheap coffee, long meetings, always together. They fought, but they listened. They failed, but they stayed. And they grew. 3 years later, their app hit 1 million users. The house was still theirs, now a headquarters, a home. At a panel, someone asked,
What made your startup different?
Tom smiled.
Barroom advice. Together, you're stronger.
Now, here's a different take on the same story. Listen closely to see how it changes.
The Bundle of Sticks 2.0. The Solo Exit. 5 friends had a fantastic idea. They started a business, and it grew. But soon the team fought constantly. Meetings went in circles. No one listened. Nothing moved. One afternoon, Erica sat in a cafe, scrolling her phone. She felt tired, frustrated, stuck. Then she saw a post from life coach Dorian. Bundled sticks don't break, but first you have to tie them together. Alone, you're free to move fast. She read it once, then again. She closed her laptop. At the next meeting, the arguing started again. Erica stood.
I'm leaving.
Her teammates laughed.
You'll break alone.
But she left anyway. She built her own thing from scratch, moved fast, cut features, found her niche. Launched in 2 months. It exploded. Her old team was still in the group chat, still tweaking the pitch deck. A year later, Erica stood on stage at a startup summit. When her talk finished, she smiled and said,
I want to thank my life coach, Dorian.
Someone asked,
What happened to your old team?
She smiled and said,
Still tied up.
Great listening! Which version did you prefer and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this lesson, we're going to talk about the verb make. Let's get started. The basic definition of make is to create or produce something. Some examples. Let's make cookies. She wants to make the presentation. Now let's take a look at the conjugations for this verb. Present, make, makes. Past, made. Past participle, made. Progressive, making. Now let's talk about some additional meanings for this verb. The first additional meaning is to cause to be or to become. This sounds quite open, so let's take a look at some examples. How can we make studying easier? Dogs make good pets. So this use of make means to cause something to be like something else or to cause something to become something else. In the first example sentence, we see, how can we make studying easier? Another way of saying this sentence is, how can we cause studying to become easier? So that's a much better way of saying cause to become, make. So how do we make something easier? So when you see make plus the comparative form of an adjective, in this case we see make easier, it means this cause to become adjective. That's kind of how you can remember this pattern. So some other common examples might be like to make something better, to make something worse, to make something stronger, for example. So this use of make means to cause to become, and then we use the comparative form. That's another key point here. Make sure to use the comparative form to make something better. So better, not good. Don't use the basic form of the adjective there. The second example sentence was dogs make good pets. So dogs become good pets, in other words, or dogs are like a way of having a good pet is sort of a weird way of saying that. But we see this a lot when talking about preferences, actually. Like in questions too, like what makes a nice house or what makes a good friend, what makes a good boss. It's not about creating that thing, it's about the qualities in that thing that you think cause it to become good or cause it to become bad. So for example, dogs make good pets because they are loyal. So dogs become good pets or dogs are able to be good pets because they are loyal. So this use of make doesn't refer to creating or producing anything. It refers to like a way of being or like something that you can become. So to give another example of this, like what makes a good boss, for example, you could say a good boss is someone who is fair and a good communicator, for example. So that question, what makes a good boss, is what do you think causes someone to be a good boss? That's sort of an awkward, strange way of saying it, but the answer is a good boss is someone who is fair and a good communicator. So those two things are like the qualities that cause someone to be a good boss or allow someone to become a good boss. So keep an eye out for this when you're reading and when you're listening to start. The next additional meaning is to total, to total. Let's look at some examples. 3 plus 5 makes 8. We're both bringing 2 people to dinner, so that makes 6 people. So this use of make is quite easy to understand. We can replace make with total in these sentences. In the first example, 3 plus 5 makes 8. We can replace makes with totals. 3 plus 5 totals 8 or equals 8 as well. In the second example sentence, we can do the same thing. We're both bringing 2 people to dinner, so that makes 6 people. That totals 6 people. That means there are 6 people in total. Let's move on to the next additional meaning. The next additional meaning is to force. Some examples. I made my friends help me move to my new house. Management is making us work overtime. Okay, so this is another quite simple way of understanding the word make. It means to force. To force means to cause someone to do something they probably do not want to do. So you apply pressure in some way. In the first example sentence, I made my friends help me move to my new house. It's like you asked your friends a lot, or you pressured them, or you did something to make them, to cause them to feel they had to help you, to force someone. We use make to show this. There's not like any sort of willpower. It's not like a person volunteered when you use make. It's the opposite. Someone else is applying pressure to do something. As we see in the second example, management is making us work overtime. So the idea here is the employees and the management are the 2 people or the 2 groups. Management is forcing employees to work overtime. So management is putting pressure on employees and causing them to work overtime, but the employees do not want to. That's the idea here. So make is very commonly used to mean force. Why do we use make instead of force? Make sounds less strong. It doesn't sound as strong as force. Force does sound quite strong, but we use make to talk about the same thing, and we tend to use it in more casual situations. Like the cashier at the store made me go to the end of the line, for example. Like I didn't want to do that, but they forced me to. Like it was a rule, for example. So in everyday situations, we use make. In more serious situations, we might use force. Let's move on to the next additional meaning. The next additional meaning is to do an action. Let's take a look at some examples. Hurry up and make a decision. She doesn't make an effort at work these days. So these 2 example sentences introduce some common ways that we use make along with a noun. In the first example sentence, we see the phrase make a decision. In the second example sentence, we see make an effort. Make is commonly paired with some nouns to refer to doing those things, to performing those actions. So make a decision is another way of saying decide. To make an effort is another way of saying try. These are just different ways that speakers might choose to combine words to communicate. So it's kind of difficult to give a rule for when we should use make in front of a noun. So this is something that I think you can improve your knowledge of through reading especially. I think it's quite hard to just give a rule for the specific kinds of nouns we can use in combination with make. So I would suggest when you're studying something like this, as you read, just kind of keep an eye out for, try to keep watching for those nouns that are paired with make, and that's some kind of action, because we cannot use it for everything. To perform an action, to make an effort, to make a decision, to make trouble is another one. But there's not really a rule for knowing specifically which 2 things can go together. So I would just recommend lots of practice for this one. It's quite tough. Let's move along now to some variations. The first variation is to make something out. This means To be able to see something difficult to see. Some examples. I think I can make out the letters on the license plate in this picture. Can you make out the address on this crumpled piece of paper? So, to make something out refers to being able to see or read something that is difficult to see, usually because it's like messy or it's blurry. So the first example is about a picture. A license plate is the numbers and the letters we attach to a car when we register the car. So I think I can make out the letters on the license plate in this picture shows us that the picture is difficult to see. Because we're using the verb, the phrasal verb, make out. Using make out shows us that there's something about the picture that makes it difficult to see. Maybe the letters are really small, or the picture is not clear, or there's some other reason that it's difficult to see. But using make out the letters, shows us that it's kind of hard to do, but maybe it's possible in this case. The second example sentence is a question. Can you make out the address on this crumpled piece of paper? Crumpled is a key word here. Crumpled means like squashed. So for example, if you have like a tissue, for example, and you put it into a ball, this condition is crumpled. So a piece of paper that is crumpled, if we unfold it, it might be really hard to see information that's written on the paper. So we can use make out. Can you make out the address on this crumpled piece of paper? It's like, can you see, are you able to read the address on this thing that's difficult to see? So you can choose to use make out something to show that it's like a difficult to understand situation or status. The next variation is to make something up. To make something up means to create a story or to lie. Some examples. I made up a story about a family emergency to get a day off of work. She made up an excuse about her health. So to use make something up or made up an excuse, as we see in the second example sentence, means to create something. That means to create a story that is not true. So when you make something up, you are like using your mind to create something. You're using your mind to like build a story that's not true. It's lying, essentially. So it's kind of a nice way of saying lie. But I think I would say that when we use the expression make something up, it doesn't sound quite as strong as lie. So when we use lie, it does sound very like specific, like you lie, that's a lie. But if we say you made something up, it doesn't sound quite as strong. It's not quite as severe. So we might use this for small lies or like little stories that we tell that maybe don't hurt anybody, but we do it like to make life easier. So to make up a story. I made up a story about a train delay so that I could cancel my appointment, for example. So you're trying like to save a situation and you might make up a story in something like that. Let's move on to the last variation, to make up for something. To make up for something is to fix a mistake. Some examples. Sorry I had to cancel our date. Let me make up for it by buying dinner next time. She was 15 minutes late, but made up for it by buying the team donuts. So when we use make up for something, it means you repair like a small past mistake. In the first example sentence, a person has to cancel a date. It's like a small inconvenience, or like you're letting the other person down. You're disappointing the other person. So when we say I'll make up for it, it means I will fix that mistake and make an improvement. That's kind of the idea. So maybe in this case, like it's a dinner date, and to make up for it, to fix the mistake, the speaker is offering to pay for dinner next time, like to repair this problem, to fix the problem. In the second example sentence, it's a delay. She was 15 minutes late, but made up for it. It here is the 15-minute delay. It's the problem. She made up for that problem by buying the team donuts. So you'll see this is a very common pattern with make up for something. To make up for something by doing something else. We saw this in the first example sentence too. Let me make up for it by buying dinner next time. in the second example sentence by buying donuts for the team. So we introduce the mistake, we introduce the desire to repair the mistake, and the fixing behavior there. So make up for something by doing something else. We can combine all of these together to fix mistakes, hopefully. Okay, so those are hopefully a few new ways that you can use the verb make. Of course, there are a lot of other ways of using this verb, and there are a lot of phrasal verbs too. So I highly recommend checking a dictionary for more information about this verb. Of course, if you have questions or comments or want to practice making example sentences with this verb, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. If you like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Know Your Verbs, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the verb go. Let's get started. Let's start with the basic definition of the verb go. The basic definition of go is to travel to another location. Let's look at some examples. I'm going to the beach this weekend. He went to work at 8 a.m. today. Now let's look at the conjugations for this verb. Present, go, goes. Past, went. Past participle, gone. Progressive, going. Now let's talk about some additional meanings for this verb. The first additional meaning of go is to say. To say, it's like using said, but an informal setting. Let's look at some examples. I go, how are you? And my boss goes, not good. She goes, I can't believe it. And I went, me neither. So this use of go shows us how people report speech. We use go, or the past tense went, to communicate the same thing we do when we use the verb say or said. So in these example sentences, I've used go or goes or went to report speech. So when you're reporting speech, which means you're sharing something someone else has said, you can use go, goes, or went to describe that instead of say or says or said. So when I say something like, my boss went or I went, it means I said or my boss said. We just use go, we choose to use go to make the situation sound a little bit more casual. So it's an informal way to report speech. You can use this in exactly the same way you would use say or said in past tense. The next additional meaning is to combine well or to commonly be found together. Some examples. Sweet and spicy flavors often go together. I don't think that shirt goes with those pants. So this use of go means to combine two or more things together, or like to combine them together well. Some of you might think this means match, but actually match and go are a little bit different. We see this in the second example sentence, like, I don't think that shirt goes with those pants. Actually, this does not mean match. To go is different from to match. To match refers to two things that are exactly the same. To go does not mean that these two things are the same. It means these two things combine well. So when we say those pants and that shirt go together, or those go, for example, that just means that they combine nicely. They combine well together. So when you use go in this way, those things go together, it means that they are nice together. They combine in a nice or pleasant or pleasing way. The next additional meaning is to be called by a name. Some examples. His name is William, but he goes by Bill. Her name is Elizabeth, and she went by Beth when she was in school. So this is a very common way of explaining someone's name or someone's nickname. We see this in the first example sentence. His name is William, but he goes by Bill, meaning he is called the name Bill. So we use go to talk about the way that we refer to another person, like what should I call you or what do you go by? Those two expressions have the same meaning. So in this case, he goes by Bill. So we use that by there to show the name that we use to refer to a person. He goes by Bill. In the second example sentence, we see a past tense example of this. So when she was in school, she went by Beth. So we use past tense there because it refers to a past situation. She went by Beth. So you can use this if you have a nickname or if you want to introduce someone who has a nickname. So for example, William and Bill are very common in terms of names and nicknames. William is the proper name, Bill is the nickname. Elizabeth and Beth are another common combination. So if you have a nickname, you can use this to talk about how you prefer to be named or how you prefer to be called, I suppose. So you can say, I go by plus your nickname. So this go means to be called something or to be named something. The next additional meaning is to belong in a specific place. Some examples. Where do the office supplies go? All the kitchen tools go in this cabinet. So this use of go refers to usually items that belong somewhere specific. So in your home or in your workplace or in the place where you study, you probably have some locations where there are just kind of like designated areas for things. So when you want to talk about where like your kitchen supplies are supposed to be placed, you can say, for example, plates go in this cabinet, or glasses go in that cabinet, or office supplies go in the desk drawer. So when you want to talk about the specific location for an object, you can use go to describe that here. This goes in that location. Now let's move along to some variations with the verb go. The first variation is to go through with something. This means to complete something, often challenging or scary, as planned. Some examples. Are you going to go through with this haircut? She went through with her plans to quit her job. So we use go through with something when we want to describe a situation that's difficult or maybe unpleasant or it's challenging. The first example sentence is a little bit funny. It's about a haircut. Are you sure you want to go through with this haircut? Means are you sure you want to do this thing as you have planned to do? So the speaker is expressing his or her doubts in this case. So perhaps the haircut is like something crazy. It's like maybe not work appropriate, whatever. So the speaker is saying, are you sure you want to do this? You've made this plan, but are you sure you want to go through with it? Are you sure you want to complete this thing that you have planned? In other words, the speaker is questioning, is this a good idea or not? So to go through with means to complete that thing. In the second example sentence, it's going through with quitting a job. So she went through with her plans to quit her job means she completed that task or she completed that challenge as she had planned to do. So you can use go through with when you want to kind of give the feeling of something that's difficult, or maybe it's kind of challenging, kind of tough, or maybe the situation could be a little uncomfortable in some way. So to go through with something. The next variation is to go through. This means to experience something, but usually for a hardship, something difficult. Let's look at some examples. It's hard for us to understand what he's going through. You went through some really hard times last year. Okay, so please note, to go through and to go through with something are very different expressions. So to go through with something was the first variation we talked about. To go through, however, refers to just experiencing a hardship, experiencing a life challenge. To go through with something refers to completing a plan, but that's related to a challenge. So to go through something does not have any nuance. There's no feeling of a plan at all. It's just a kind of negative or tough life experience. In the first example sentence, it's hard for us to understand what he's going through. Another way of saying going through there is it's hard for us to understand what he is experiencing with a very negative feeling about it. It's hard for us to understand his negative life experience right now. So you can think of this going through as showing that someone is experiencing difficulty. In the second example sentence, you went through some really hard times last year. It shows that a person did have difficulties in the past. They had a troubling or a challenging experience in the previous year, but they were able to overcome that, or things improved since that time. So to go through refers to kind of passing through or continuing through some kind of negative or difficult life experience. So that's everything for this lesson. I hope that you found a new way of using the verb go. There are actually a lot of different ways of using the verb go, a lot of different phrasal verbs. So if you want to know more about this verb, I highly recommend checking a dictionary. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making some sentences with this verb, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Of course, if you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this episode, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Are you ready to learn 5 new English words? This week's topic is payments and records, and there'll be a quiz at the end to test you on the words. So let's go. Payment. Payment. It's a noun that means money given to someone for goods, services, or to pay a debt. Here's an example. Delay their payment. Delay their payment. Ever had a client delay their payment? Ever had a client delay their payment? Ever had a client delay their payment after you've posted their food photos? Yes. I insist on a deposit up front. That stops me from chasing payments for months. Let's review. Say this out loud. Payment. Payment. Say this out loud. Delay their payment. Delay their payment. Say this out loud. Ever had a client delay their payment? Ever had a client delay their payment? Attendance. Attendance. It's a noun that means the number of people who go to an event or are present at a place. Here's an example. The attendance. The attendance. The attendance was incredible. The attendance was incredible. The attendance was incredible. Over 300 people turned up. I'm worried our permits and insurance don't cover that attendance. Let's review. Say this out loud. Attendance. Attendance. Say this out loud. The attendance. The attendance. Say this out loud. The attendance was incredible. The attendance was incredible. Ensure. Ensure. It's a verb that means to make sure something happens or is true. Here's an example. Ensure every guest loves the meal. Ensure every guest loves the meal. I want to ensure every guest loves the meal. I want to ensure every guest loves the meal. I'm hosting a pop-up tomorrow. I want to ensure every guest loves the meal. I'll ensure each order matches the name to avoid chaos. Let's review. Say this out loud. Ensure. Ensure. Say this out loud. Ensure every guest loves the meal. Ensure every guest loves the meal. Say this out loud. I want to ensure every guest loves the meal. I want to ensure every guest loves the meal. Milestone. Milestone. It's a noun that means an important event or point in your life or in a project. Here's an example. A real milestone. A real milestone. This launch is a real milestone. This launch is a real milestone. This dinner launch is a real milestone for me. Sit back. I'll make those shots legendary. Let's review. Say this out loud. Milestone. Milestone. Say this out loud. A real milestone. A real milestone. Say this out loud. This launch is a real milestone. This launch is a real milestone. Invoice. Invoice. It's a noun that means a list that shows what you need to pay for things you bought or services you used. Here's an example. The invoice. The invoice. I got the invoice for the cookware. I got the invoice for the cookware. I just got the invoice for the new cookware and it's nearly twice my budget. Oh, I'm sure they slipped in a panic buyer fee. Have you checked the invoice's small print? Let's review. Say this out loud. Invoice. Invoice. Say this out loud. The invoice. The invoice. Say this out loud. I got the invoice for the cookware. I got the invoice for the cookware. It's quiz time. Let's see how well you remember the words from the last 5 lessons. Ready?
Payment.
Attendance.
Ensure.
Milestone.
Invoice.
Great job! Follow English Class 101 for more English lessons.
Access your free language gifts right now before they expire. First, the Using Transportation Conversation PDF cheat sheet. This new cheat sheet teaches you must-know words and phrases like where can I buy a ticket, how much is the train pass, and much more. Second, do you know how to say Christmas in your target language? With this 1-minute lesson, you'll learn must-know Christmas words like chimney, present, and Santa Claus. Third, want a bonus writing workbook for this winter? No other language app will give you free bonus resources, but we will. You'll master all the winter words and phrases with this free writing workbook. Fourth, how to talk about holiday gifts. What gift do you want the most this holiday season? With this quick vocab lesson, you'll learn common gift vocabulary like laptop, camera, money, and more. And fifth, tired of apps that only teach you random words? Want an app that teaches you the language through everyday conversations? With innovative language learning, you're exposed to real conversations between real native speakers. And then you get everything slowed down and explained so you can learn the language fast. Download it for free on Android, iPhone, and iPad. To get your free gifts of the month, click the link in the description below and download them now before they expire. Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.